Enough room? All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm Marina Alderete Gavito. I'm the councilwoman for District 7. Today was a great day for Safer San Antonio. As we all know, we have a loose and dangerous dog problem here in San Antonio, and it is a public safety issue. So with my policy proposal that we put forward in May, we are going to be holding negligent dog owners accountable. I am so thankful to the partnership of not only Mike Shannon and ACS, Senator Menendez. I remember talking about it with him in his office, figuring out and crafting the policy that we want to do, obviously with our police officers, all of us coming together and figuring out how we make a safer San Antonio. This change is long overdue. We need to change the culture of dog ownership in San Antonio. So we're going to be increasing fines for negligent dog owners. If you don't want to face those fines, then don't let your dogs get out. We are also working with Animal Care Services so that any dog that Animal Care Services picks up will be spayed or neutered. That is the only way we're going to be able to get to the root of the problem. It's the only way we're going to be able to collectively lower our euthanasia rate. So we're really excited to be partnering with ACS. And again, if you don't want your dog fixed, don't let it get out. And lastly, we're going to be protecting residents who want to report a dangerous dog in their neighborhood. Oftentimes they feared retaliation, and now they can report a dangerous dog and remain anonymous and help their neighborhood become safer. So this was truly a team effort. Our CCR, this is just a huge step forward in the right direction. Still more work to be done, but I'm thankful and grateful for the partnership so we can do this together. I'm going to turn it over to Senator Menendez.
Thank you, Councilwoman. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Jose Menendez, State Senator for District 26. I am so proud, and my time at City Hall, this reminds me of why local government is so important. Here we have a city councilwoman who came to my office shortly after the governor had vetoed the dangerous dog bill that Representative Campos and I had passed working together, and said, what can we do? I'm really frustrated, I'm devastated. We have a problem at Woodlawn Lake. You specifically brought up some packs of dogs that were running around. And I said, well, let's see if maybe you leading the charge can work a solution out at the local level. And that's what we're crossing the line, finishing the line with a unanimous vote. I want to congratulate the councilwoman because this day we would not be here without her leadership and her championing this effort. And so, let's not forget why this all started. I mean, we have a problem, when we've had a problem for quite some time, but obviously it really didn't come to the forefront. We didn't file the bill until the tragedy that took the life of Mr. Ramon Nájera. And so it was that impetus, that terrible, tragic loss of life, due to the fact that neighbors were afraid to report the dangerous dogs that had a history of running loose, the 3 pit bulls that attacked he and his wife. This is exactly what this bill, this ordinance, we passed the bill, this city ordinance will address. And that's why I am here. I stopped, I rearranged my schedule because I felt it was important enough not to be before the cameras, but to congratulate the councilwoman and the city council for taking an effort and leading the charge. And the state of Texas needs to take notice because this is what leadership looks like. This is what taking action looks like. And it doesn't surprise me. It's what happens when you have good governance. Now, laws can be passed, but it requires enforcement. And I'm also confident that we have the 2 strong leaders that are going to make sure that these laws are enforced so that it's not just words on a piece of paper. I'm going to introduce now one of the best chiefs of police in the nation, a man I've known for a long time, a great deal of respect, and I look forward to working with him next session as well, Chief McManus.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate that. So let me remind everyone, why exactly it is we're doing this. The Senator did touch on it a little bit. On February, 24th of February in 2023, in the 2800 block of Depla, an 81-year-old man was killed while visiting his family by a couple of pit bulls that got loose. On 8/16/2023, in the 7400 block of Fieldgate, a 76-year-old man lost his leg after being attacked by loose dogs. In September of 2023, in the 9500 block of Heidelberg, a 47-year-old was killed by a neighbor's dog. And then on 7/30 of 2024, in the 300 block of Vargas, an SAPD officer was attacked and bit on his arm by a dog while handling a call. And then lastly, on 10/4/2024, in the 1100 block of Fulton, a 36-year-old male was attacked and taken to the hospital in critical condition. And one thing that was left off here, there was a young child who was killed by vicious dogs. And so I want to thank the council member for leading the charge on this. We have police officers as well as the public that are put in danger every single time they come across a stray dog on a call or anytime anyone's walking down the street. The proposed change in Chapter 5 is a necessary step to enhance safety for everyone here in San Antonio. These are preventable tragedies, and we can do something about it. Too often, members are put at risk by dogs running loose on the street, or because the owners haven't taken responsibility for making sure that they're penned up and they can't get out. Dangerous dogs pose a threat to people in our community every single day. And again, police officers who respond to calls, you've all reported, some of you maybe, when a police officer shoots a dog. And these dogs, they don't shoot dogs because they can, they shoot them because they need to protect themselves. Strengthening City Code Chapter 5 will provide clear guidelines for responsible dog ownership. It'll increase penalty for negligence and reduce the prevalence of unrestrained and dangerous dogs in our neighborhood, and help SAPD officers and others who have to do work in the public do their jobs more safely. So once again, I want to thank the senator, I want to thank the council member for taking a strong lead on this, and the senator's strong support on this. Thank you very much. Mike?
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Shannon, Interim Director of Animal Care Services. I first want to thank the Councilwoman and the full Mayor and Council for passing this new ordinance today. Animal Care Services, as you know, we've been given more officers over the past couple of years to get to more calls for service, to pick up more loose, aggressive or dangerous dogs. That is part of the story. We need better tools, stronger tools like what we just passed today. Those will be deterrents to really focus on those irresponsible pet owners that are not doing what they're supposed to do to keep their neighborhood safe. Most of the animals that we come across, especially the dogs that are running loose around town, most of them, by a high number, are owned. They're someone's dog that they have let free of restraint for some reason. Those owners, those pet owners, while we have a lot of great pet owners in town, it's those irresponsible pet owners. That's the people problem that we have. We have to hold them more accountable to make their neighborhood safer, and this is a huge step and a bigger and better tool that we can use out in the field each and every day. And we will hold them more accountable with this new ordinance. And the other item, which I'm really excited about, is the idea that we can actually sterilize the dogs before we give them back to the owner, similar to what state law allows. That will help us with our sterilizations, because we really need to control that pet population. That's a huge part of it. So thank you, Councilwoman, for your leadership and your partnership in this, and I look forward to working with you as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'll close out. Mike, thank you for reminding me. You know, when I first got elected, one of the residents of District 7 mentioned this to me. She said, you know, it's not a dog problem, it's a people problem. And that's exactly what it is. We do have negligent dog owners. And so with this CCR and with the vote that passed today, we're targeting the problem, and the negligent dog owners are the people who are causing this problem in our community. Residents deserve to feel safe when walking down their streets. Kids deserve to be safe when walking to school. So again, this was very much a team effort. I'm very grateful to all the partners here. I'm grateful to the Letter Carriers Union, who also play a critical role in this. teamwork makes the dream work. So thanks so much. We'll be open for questions.
Councilwoman, you mentioned the higher fines. Where is that money going to go towards again? Can you clarify that?
The higher fines, that's going to be processed through municipal courts. So
Will it go to the general fund? Will it go to ACS?
I believe it goes to the general fund, but yeah, yes, general fund.
These higher fines, is it meant to punish them more, or is it supposed to be a deterrent? I mean, some might argue that these are dog owners who are already letting people or letting their dogs run loose. Are they really going to be bothered by a higher fine?
Yeah, it's meant to serve as a deterrent, right? If you know that, hey, your dog is going to get out, and the second time he gets out, you're going to pay $500. We hope that you would take the proactive steps to make sure your dog is fenced in and won't get out of your yard.
What if you can't pay? How are we holding those people accountable
Yeah.
who cannot pay and just accumulate fine after fine after fine?
Yeah, they'll be going through the municipal court system. And at our public safety town hall that we had in March, we actually brought in our municipal courts partners, right? Because we need them to hear the frustration that residents have. Again, we want the negligent dog owners to be held accountable. And so municipal courts plays a huge role in that. And so, making sure that they're enforcing the fines so that people can change their behavior.
How does the fee work for not preventing a bite? What does it mean to not prevent a bite?
Oh, the bite fee. Go ahead, Mike.
Certainly. So there's a section in our code called failure to prevent bite. We actually do issue that citation. So if your dog bites another person or bites a person, and you're negligent, meaning you did something that you let it out free of restraint. That's usually the situation. You were letting it walk with you down the street without a leash. Those types of things, where we will issue that citation. Where we wouldn't possibly issue it is if you were at home and it's your dog and you're playing with it and it accidentally bites you because you're kind of roughhousing a little bit. That's still considered a bite, but we wouldn't necessarily fine you $1,000 for failure to prevent bite because it's your dog on you. So those are kind of examples of situations, but when we use that, it's because an irresponsible pet owner clearly wasn't doing what they were supposed to do to keep not only the animal safe, but most importantly, the neighborhood safe.
Does it require someone reporting it?
No, it actually just that comes just from our animal care officers doing the investigation, and through that evidence, we can issue that citation.
And does this cover bites on other animals as well, or just people?
It's intended for the people. Yeah.
And the ACS investigates because someone reported it or on their own?
Both. Yeah.
Director, could you explain the importance of the forced sterilizations? It's not just to combat the pet population, but it also helps with aggressiveness of dogs, that kind of thing, to just help people understand.
Absolutely. One of the main goals at ACS, and it has been for years, and if you look at our budget session this past summer, one of the main goals is to continue to increase sterilizations of our dogs and cats. But specifically for dogs, yes, it's the overpopulation of running around in our streets, the roaming population. But yeah, there is definitely health benefits for the animal and how aggressive they can become later in life after a couple years. So there's the health benefits and all the protection of the animal and the people around it. So absolutely, it's kind of a dual win.
Can you explain
the resources to do all of this, the spay and neuter?
The plan that we propose today, which would be the animals that do make it back to our campus, we have the resources to absorb that right now. If we were to ask our officers to bring back every animal and maybe not return it to the resident in the field, we don't have that resources right now. It wouldn't be efficient. That's something we told the Public Safety Committee we will work towards that. And as we develop this program through better follow-ups with the sterilization orders in the field, et cetera. So it's a combined effort, but that'll be something that we'll grow into.
Can you explain how your anonymous dangerous dog reporting works? And also, if you've already got that, are you pursuing more at the state level?
Yes, because administratively and locally, we've created a program where if someone does feel uncomfortable, a little bit afraid, and it comes up from time to time, as the senator mentioned, we have a new administrative way for them to use a pseudonym to get the process started, and then I can even deem it dangerous. However, if it goes to court, meaning they appeal that designation, at that point, by basically state law. We will have to give the person's name if we want to proceed with that at the court level. One of the things that we are working with the senator and Representative Campos is how do we protect it even further at the state level, so even if it goes to court, I can further protect that person's name. And we think that's appropriate, but that's part of the legislative changes we'll continue to work with at the state level.
And then
Chief
Senator, can you
McManus.
talk?
Of all of the changes that were made today, how does this impact San Antonio Police, if it impacts San Antonio Police at all?
It does. It's a safety issue for police, an officer safety issue, and oftentimes when we go on calls, we're confronted by a dangerous dog. And if an officer feels that their safety is being threatened or someone else's safety is being threatened, then that dog's probably going to get euthanized by the officer.
Yes. Senator, can you explain more about what you're planning to do at the legislative level?
Yeah.
We just heard about the anonymous dog complaints, but what else is there to do that you think is the obvious next step?
So this city has a history of leading the state on many issues, pretrial, diversions, and lots of other things. So every time we do something that makes a lot of sense here, I try to introduce bills to help the rest of the state catch up. I'll take this ordinance and now we're going to switch roles where she got the great idea and we're going to take it up to Austin and try to introduce it as a bill. But the next step, as you heard Director Shannon mention, is if they go to court, at that point, before they can proceed, they're going to have to divulge who it is. Now, let's take the scenario where, Mr. Nájera, if one of the neighbors had wanted to turn in the 3 dangerous pit bulls, then they would have had to, let's say there was an argument on behalf of the owner of the pit bulls who has now been sentenced to jail, that person would have had their person would have been divulged to them, and we're trying to protect them. And so we're going to have to find a way to give the court to legitimize who has standing, because this isn't about, that's the other thing I want the people to know, this isn't about barking dogs late at night, nuisance dogs. This is about dangerous dogs. This is the other thing. We're not trying to give people, weaponize the ability for people to try to just turn each other in because they don't like the neighbor's dog. That's not the issue. Pardon me?
How will you stop them from doing that?
Well, because they're going to determine whether or not it's a dangerous dog, whether the dog is loose or the dog is dangerous. It has nothing to do whether the dog is a nuisance or it's barking or the dog came over and relieved itself on the person's yard. The traditional things that people get upset about, the neighbor's dogs. That's not it. This is about people fearing for their lives, not being able to walk with their loved ones in the street, not being able to have their kids out in the street, not be able to ride their bikes. These are the things we've been hearing about, that we're sick and tired of our community not being a community where people can just live and enjoy their neighborhood. It should not be run by the dogs and the negligent dog owners that are letting them run loose. I have heard stories from people. In the morning when I go to work, I open the door and let my dog run, and when I come back, they know when I'm coming back home and they come back. That's not right. That's not appropriate. If you want to be a dog owner, be a responsible dog owner.
Senator,
Señor, ¿cuál sería su...
We have time for one more question.
We're going to do 2 in español and then her. Sí, dime.
Sí, ¿cuál sería su mensaje después de esta votación para la comunidad y especialmente para las víctimas de perros que han sido atacados aquí en
Sí,
la ciudad?
sí. Mira, primeramente hay que darle las gracias a la concejal por el trabajo que hizo, porque no se dio por vencida que la ley que propusimos en el estado, que la vetó el gobernador, ella dijo, bueno, ¿qué hacemos? Entonces se propuso tomar este proyecto de ley al nivel local y lo acaban de pasar unánimemente. Entonces, ahora, lo que va a pasar es que van a haber consecuencias serias si uno deja a su perro que se vaya por la calle sin que esté sin lo que lo traiga atado o bajo control de su persona. Van a haber consecuencias reales. En el momento que ese perro se lo lleven a Animal Control Services y si ven que tuvo un problema, tienen el derecho en ese momento a esterilizar el perro. Así que son series de cosas que van a pasar. Si uno quiere ser dueño de una mascota, tiene que ser un dueño responsable. Y ese es el mensaje. Ya estamos cansados de que las personas no puedan beneficiarse de sus banquetas, de sus calles, caminar en su vecindad sin peligro de los perros que los ataquen. Gracias. Yes.
Just one last question.
Yeah.
What penalties are you going to try and impose or introduce at the state level for the people who have those dogs that have killed others? Just most recently, Jariah Johnson, the
Yeah.
one-year-old, that woman
Yeah.
remains in jail. I mean,
Yeah.
should she face murder charges?
We're going to review that. I don't think murder is a I mean, I'm not an attorney, but I think there has to be some sort of planning or intent. I think, not being an attorney, I'd say manslaughter would be more what a criminal attorney would come up with, a district attorney would come up. But I can't tell you on the fly, and I'm not going to tell you off the cuff, that we're going to be looking for specific charges just for these things. I think this first step that it's taken place is a good first step. Let's move forward. Let's see if we can just get people. We're not looking to be punitive. We're looking to deter people's bad behavior. And that's what's hard to do. It's hard to change people's behavior. But if you do it in a way where you give people an opportunity to understand there is a penalty, there is a punishment, but it's not going to happen unless you are a repeat offender. And so in this case where this lady left, the issue where the negligence came is to leave her alone with a 13-year-old child and those 3 dogs alone in the house. There is a series of a fact pattern that I think are beside the fact that the 3 dogs did what sometimes dogs will do. It's wrong, they're dangerous, they shouldn't have done it. But I mean, there's a series of things, and I'm not 100% aware of all of them. So I cannot just sit here and tell you what we would do in that case. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.